So, Monsters 103 Mercies Dragon Damnation is the newest one-shot from Eiichiro Oda that was just released on Netflix and is available to read currently on the Shonen Jump app. Don't skip it. I know you're not going to skip it. This is for that other guy. There are spoilers for this ahead. I'm doing an analysis of the whole thing. Also, just know that if you're in the comments, I haven't finished Wano yet, so no spoilers for me, please, por favor. The only thing I knew about the story before I read it and watched it was that it was created by Oda and therefore it'd be very, very good. After reading it, I realized that this was the story of Ryuma, the samurai from Wano that Zoro earned Shusui from when he fought him in Thriller Bark for Brook's Shadow. When I first saw his look and his mannerisms, I thought he was the perfect combination of Luffy and Zoro, and it's very hard for me to see him as his own person and not just the both of them. Or I guess more accurately, Luffy and Zoro are different aspects of his personality in a more concentrated form, since this one technically came before One Piece. So it's a simple story. You get into the premise, a guy walks into a bar and all that. You learn about the town. The dragons are prone to attack. There's a legendary hero who saved that girl over there. You mean that girl over there? Yes, that very girl over there. And then there's a whole skirmish in the street after Ryuma leaves the bar. Guy blows a dragon's horn, summons the dragon. Why did he do that? I don't know. He's a freaking weird guy. But then Ryuma's blamed for the whole thing. The town evacuates because the dragon's coming and they don't want to be burned along with it. Plot twist, shocker, the legendary hero is actually in cahoots with the guy in the street. I liked how when he found this out, Ryuma tried to protect Flare from finding out that her savior is actually a con artist and the murderer of her whole entire family, and thus the very reason of her needing to be saved in the first place. And that's where the title of the story plays in. There's only one dragon in the show. Just one. When it says monsters plural, it's referring to Shirano and DR, the two men who killed their subordinates, burned, murdered, and pillaged a whole entire town, had the audacity to pass one of them off as the savior of that very town, and were about to do it again. I think this is very similar to the kind of story that we see a lot in One Piece. The enemy is more often than not someone who tricks those under them into believing that there's something that they're not. Clawhador pretended to be a butler. Crocodile pretended to be a hero of Alabasta. Inaru, I mean, I guess he thought he was a god. He wasn't. Doflamingo set himself up as the savior and the king of Dressrosa. Caesar convinced all those kids that he was a benevolent master and that he was there to save them and heal them, when in reality, all these people were just a-holes. And that wasn't the only One Piece-y thing about the story either. We also get Flare, a side character who has a tragic story that needs to be avenged, which we also see a lot in Shushu the dog, the man on the stilts, Vivi, Rebecca, Shirahoshi, Kami, the list goes on. Typically an old man or a young woman. I'm just now realizing just now as I'm thinking about this. Shirano looks a little like Mihawk. DR has a face that could only belong in One Piece. And Ryuma has both Zoro's face and Luffy's sense of justice, where he feels indebted to those who feed him. Also his philosophy, the true value of a battle isn't in the feats you achieved or the spoils you gained, it's in what you protected. That's a very Straw Hat thing to say. The Straw Hats continue to gain notoriety for the crimes they commit, but in reality, they've only committed crimes in situations in which there was injustice due to the government's apathy. The berries they receive are always gifts from those who are thankful to them, not prizes they've stolen or pillaged. And one last thing that's specific to the manga and not to the anime is that the bartender referred to Ryuma as Ryuma the King, not D period like everyone else, but D-E. The anime just says the, which anywhere else it wouldn't matter, but this here is One Piece and it matters a whole bunch. As for a critique, there was one part where DR and Shirano were just yuck-yucking to each other about how brilliant they both were, explaining out loud exactly what they got away with, stuff that could be incredibly damning if anyone was there to hear them, but thank goodness the whole entire town was evacuated and there was no one standing behind a wall listening to their whole entire conversation. The whole point of that conversation was just to provide provide information on the background of the story and what they did before, thus making the whole entire thing a big info dump. Of course, this is to be expected. It's an earlier work. Oda has since become well versed in providing information while simultaneously moving the story forward, which I talk about a lot in my Zou video. When it's up, it'll be right there in the top corner, whichever corner it's in. I did think it was funny though when Ryuma beat Shirano in like 2 seconds and DR was like, "You beat the legendary Shirano." It's like, you spread that rumor. Like, why are you surprised? In the end, I like Ryuma very much. I think he's wonderful, and if he existed before One Piece, it makes sense why he was treated with so much respect in Thriller Bark. Because like when I think back on like the whole entire fight with Zoro, I mean, it showed a little bit of it, but like at the end of the fight, like you didn't see Ryuma get beat. Like he was just standing there and he like caught on fire or something like that. He was treated with a lot of respect, and knowing that this story exists that kind of tells his history, that he was a character that Oda created. I mean, he created all of them, but like you get it. He was supposed to be a good guy. It makes sense. The anime does have the one scene at the end where it goes back to Ryuma's zombie in Thriller Bark, which wasn't in the manga. And that just reminded me again, Dr. Hogback, you are a dirty dog. I don't know where you are, but wherever you are, I hope you're crying. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Meanie Mosey. If you like this analysis of Oda's one-shot story, click right here. I have a whole entire playlist of all that I've seen in One Piece so far, where I analyze it in the same verve. Is that the right word? Go binge it. It's cool. Anyway, I've been Meanie Mosey, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.